Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Pachehra Talks. My name is Arun, and I'm Solutions Architect, MCT. Currently, I'm working with Novintech, which is one of the best organization to work with. Also received Great Place to Work many times. And this is my channel, and these are my views. And today, we are going to talk about test plans. This is the last tool in Azure DevOps that we are trying to cover. We have covered almost all the services that Azure DevOps offers. So with this, we are going to end this test plans. Maybe we'll create one more video for the pricing. So let's see what is the agenda for today. All right. So first we'll try to understand what are the test plans. Okay. And how actually it works, how we created those things. Then we'll see what all things we can do, key features and functionality under Azure DevOps test plans, and then why we choose it. And finally, scenarios to understand all those features and the challenges that it solves for us. So let's start with what is Azure DevOps? Test plans. Well, test plans is a tool within Azure DevOps Suite designed to help teams manage, execute, and track their testing efforts. Manage, execute, and track their testing efforts. That's what the test plans help us to do. If it does not make much sense, let's imagine you're working on a building a new website. Okay, you're trying to build a new website for, let's say, online book sales, and you want to ensure that every part of the website works correctly. So we need searching capabilities so people can search for the books, or checking out, or payment, things like that. They're like various aspects. So these test plans is like your checklist and report card all in one, making sure you don't miss testing any part of your website and keeping track of how each test performed. Yes, this gives you everything. You can prepare the entire checklist and you could have the report card, either test failed or passed. You can also hook it up with the work items. Anyways, we'll see all of it in upcoming same video. Okay. All right. So how it works. We understood what is test plans. Now, how it works. Well, the very first thing is we got to create the test plans. So we start by creating test plans for our website. Think of this as creating a big to-do list for testing different parts of the website. For example, one test plan might be for testing the search functionality, another one for user registration, and maybe one for the checkout process. All the different modules of the application or the different task that application does, we can have different test plans for each one of the functionalities of that particular application. So we got to create the test plan. Then we need to write the test cases. Okay. Under each test plan, we write test cases. Yes, test plan comes first, where we have the scenario, what we're going to test, and then the test case. So a test case is a detailed instruction on what to test and how. For instance, a test case for the search functionality might include step like go to the search bar, enter the name of a book, press enter, and then specify what the expected result is, such as the book appears in the search result. Okay. Then we got to execute the test. Once our test cases are ready, it's time to run them. This can be done manually. Most of them are manually, by going through the steps in each test case and recording the results, but you can also do automatically. Let's take an example. You might manually navigate to the website to search for a book and ensure the expected outbook appears in the results. So you got to execute each one of them. Why? And what we can do after the execution, we can track the progress and result. Okay. So as you run test, test plans let you record whether each test passed or failed, and any notes or observations you would like to add. This is like marking each item on your checklist as done, or nothing, no issues, things like that. If a test fails because the book did not appear in the search result, you can record this and it becomes a point for your development team to fix. Then development team is going to fix. So we need some kind of integration, right? Or for other stuff as well. So when a test fails, you can create a work item, which was the first video in this Azure DevOps series, Azure Boards. Okay, so if you have not seen that, please go ahead, watch all these 5 videos to have a decent understanding of Azure DevOps. So you can create a work item directly from the test case. This work item is essentially a task for your developers to fix the issue. It's linked to the test case, so developers know exactly what problem to solve. Once the issue is fixed, you can retest to ensure the problem is resolved. Right? Now, with this understanding of test plans and how it actually works, let's take a few examples just to cement the knowledge. Let's suppose you are testing the user registration process. A test case might include filling out the registration form with dummy data and submitting it. The expected result is that a new user account is created. If the account isn't created, you mark the test as failed, create a work item, and assign it to a developer to fix the issue. The entire cycle. Let's take another example. For testing the checkout process, a test case could involve adding a book to the cart and completing the purchase with dummy payment information. The expected outcome is that the purchase completes successfully and an order confirmation is shown. If the payment fails, you note the failure and possibly create a bug work item for developers. So I think now we have a decent idea what it is. So let's conclude by saying test plan act as a structured framework for ensuring every aspect of your project is tested thoroughly, allowing for issues to be documented and addressed systematically. It's critical It's critical tool for maintaining quality in software development, ensuring that your final product, like the online book sales website, meets all requirements and provides a good user experience rather a list of complaints. We all want 4 stars out of 5, not 1, not 1.5, with lots of feedback. So this will help us. All right, so let's see what was the next point in the agenda. Let's see. Key features. We're going to talk about the key features. So, test plan is a comprehensive suite designed to support all aspects of the test management process, integrating seamlessly with other Azure DevOps services for a unified CI/CD pipeline. This service offers a range of features aimed at improving test efficiency, visibility, and overall project quality. So, let's see what all these things could be achieved by these features and functionalities. Let's understand them first. So the very first is test planning and management, right? So as we have tried to understand what it is, it was pretty clear. That's what it is, test planning and management. It helps us to create a detailed test plan, test suites to organize testing by feature, user story, or any other criteria. Structured test cases within these plans, ensuring comprehensive coverage of all application aspects, tracking records, and all. Then it offers manual and automated testing both. Uh, it has rich test execution records, tracking progress we talked about. It helps us to record the outcome of each test case, including pass, fail status. We can comment and put the observations, attachments for evidence for further clarification. We can create bugs or link bugs or issues directly from failed test cases, streamlining the defect management process. So it moves in a cycle without a lot of manual intervention and waste of time, right? Full traceability from requirements to test and bugs. Test cases can be linked to work items, user stories, or tasks, ensuring that all requirements are covered by test. It provides seamless integration with Azure boards for tracking work items and Azure pipelines for incorporating continuous testing into the build and the release pipelines. It also helps us to use parameters in test cases to run the same test with different datasets, enhancing the test coverage without duplicating test steps. It also helps us create shared steps that can be reused across multiple test cases, reducing redundancy and maintenance overhead. It helps us manage test data centrally, making it easier to update and maintain. And of course, the reporting analytics is wonderful. It helps us access built-in reports and dashboard for real-time insights into test progress, coverage, and quality metrics. We can customize reports to meet specific project needs or stakeholders' requirements as well. And finally, it has a cross-platform and cross-browser testing as well. It supports both. So we have a little bit more idea about the test plans and the features it provides. But now we need to understand, why should we use it? Why choose Azure DevOps test plan? Well, there are multiple points that I put it here. So being part of the Azure DevOps suite, test plans offer unmatched integration with Azure repos, boards, pipelines, providing a cohesive and unified experience for development and testing teams. So it provides integration with the DevOps ecosystem. That's a wonderful, because if you're already using Azure DevOps, so why go with some third party or some other tool? You could utilize the same one with the seamless integration piece of it. Then Azure's global infrastructure ensures scalability, flexibility, accommodating projects of any size and complexity without the need for on-premises hardware, right? No need to go everywhere or here and there. Just utilize the benefits that it serves. Then we can leverage the Azure security and compliance feature, ensuring that your test management process meets industry standards. This helps enhances collaboration across teams by providing visibility into the testing process, making it easier for developers, testers, and stakeholders to stay informed and aligned. It facilitates continuous testing as part of the DevOps pipeline, enabling teams to detect and resolve issues early in the development cycle. So what it does, continuous testing and DevOps integration, another wonderful feature to opt for it. And finally, it offers a complete solution for test planning, execution, tracking, and reporting, reducing the need for multiple disparate tools. So let's conclude by saying test plans stand out for their deep integration with the Azure DevOps ecosystem, scalability, and comprehensive feature set, supporting both manual and automated testing. It's an excellent choice for teams already invested in Azure DevOps, seeking a seamless, secure, and efficient way to manage their testing process. Compared to other tools in the market, its strength lies in its integration, scalability, and the breadth of features designed to support modern DevOps practices. All right, now let's plan a realistic scenario for developing and deploying a new feature for an e-commerce website, which will help us to just understand what all we have studied till now. So, what is this scenario? Let's go through the scenario first. Uh, this is the realistic scenario of developing and deploying a new feature for an e-commerce website, specifically an enhanced product recommendation engine. This feature aims to suggest products to users based on their browsing history and purchase patterns. We'll walk through the end-to-end cycle using Azure DevOps test plans, highlighting its features, managing dependencies, and explaining the importance of each step in the context of this scenario. So how usually it happens? Well, we have divided here it into four phases, as you can see. The very first is planning and setup. So what we're going to do here, we are going to set up the project in Azure DevOps first, where the development and test teams collaborate. The new feature is broken down into user stories and tasks tracked in Azure boards. Then a test plan for the recommendation engine feature is created in our Azure DevOps test plans. This plan outlines the testing strategy, objectives, and scope to ensure the feature works as expected and integrates seamlessly with the rest of the website. And then we gotta write the test cases. So test cases are detailed for various aspects of the feature, such as algorithm accuracy, user interface elements, and performance under load. Test cases are linked into the corresponding user stories in Azure boards for traceability. So these are like few things we will do under this phase, planning and setup. We're gonna set up the project, plan the test creation, and write in the test cases. And in our second phase, we are going to do the implementation and testing. And how? Well, the development team starts implementing the feature, committing code to Azure repos, continuous integration pipelines in Azure pipelines, automatically build the code and run unit test. As feature components become ready, testers begin executing linked test cases manually for exploratory testing and visually verifying UI elements. For automated testing, test scripts are written and executed against the build deployed in a test environment. The results are recorded in Azure DevOps test plans. And then you got to manage the dependencies. The recommendation engine depends on user data. So test data management is handled within the test plans where parameters and datasets for testing different user scenarios are defined. So that's how we are going to check the data dependencies. And what about the service dependencies? Well, if the engine relies on external services like machine learning model hosted separately, service virtualization or mocking techniques are used during testing to ensure reliability and independence of test. So you can do that under implementation and testing phase. Then the phase 3, issues found during testing are logged as bugs in Azure boards directly from the test cases in Azure DevOps test plans. This ensures that every bug is traceable back to it. Okay, then what all we can do? We can also put like bug fixing and regression testing under the bug tracking resolution. It's like developers fix the bugs and the fixes trigger another CI build and deployment for testing. Regression test suites defined in Azure DevOps test plans are run to ensure that new changes haven't adversely affected existing functionalities. These two things will be tested here. And then finally, phase four, deployment and continuous monitoring. Once testing is satisfactory, the feature is deployed to production using Azure pipelines. Pre-deployed and post-deployment approval process involves stakeholders reviewing the test results and coverage in Azure DevOps test plans. After deployment, continuous monitoring tools provide feedback on the features, performance, and usage in the real world. Any issues detected post-release are tracked as work items in Azure boards, prioritized for further or future sprints. So this is what the scenario is all about. That's how we work with the test plans. This is totally hypothetical. So if there is something that you think is missed, but it is more like to understand how this happens, and I think it pretty much covers that. Or we can summarize by saying like why it's important. Let's say the very first thing is traceability. Second thing is the collaboration, because Azure DevOps facilitates seamless collaboration among developers, testers, and stakeholders, keeping everyone aligned and informed. Then quality assurance, because through comprehensive planning, testing, and continuous monitoring, test plans help ensure that the feature is of high quality, meets user expectation, and integrates well with the existing systems. And finally, efficiency, because automating builds, test, and deployment streamlines the development lifecycle, reduces manual effort, and speeds up the delivery of new feature. So, in this scenario, Azure DevOps test plans plays a crucial role in ensuring the successful development, deployment, and release of high quality product, which is a recommendation engine for the e-commerce, demonstrating the platform's capability in supporting agile development methodologies and DevOps practices. So till now, I hope you're with me and you are able to make a very good understanding of test plans or some sense of it. If not well, I hope well though. So finally, we have one more slide to understand what are the challenges it solves for us. Well, these things will help us to actually comprehend the features and functionalities of particular tool. So let's try to put some hypothetical scenario here. Let's suppose a scenario involving the development of a mobile banking application, which allows users to perform transaction, check balances, and receive notifications. This project faces multiple challenges, including ensuring security, handling a variety of mobile devices, and managing frequent updates. We'll see how test plans helps address these challenges. So the very first is ensuring high security and privacy. Well, create a specific test plan in Azure DevOps focusing on security aspects like authentication, data encryption, and privacy compliance. Do that. Then automate security testing. Integrate automated security testing tools with Azure pipelines to run security tests for every build. And then finally, manual security audits. You can use Azure test plans to manage and document manual security audits and penetration testing procedures as well. So that's how you can meet this challenge. Now, the second challenge is compatibility across multiple devices and OS versions, as we stated in the scenario. Well, we can create device-specific test cases, develop test cases for different devices and OS versions, ensuring the application's compatibility and responsiveness. Azure DevOps test plans allow for parameterized testing, where you can run the same test case with the different devices parameters that we already explained in the features as well. Then cloud-based device farm integration. We can integrate with cloud-based device farms using Azure pipelines to automatically execute tests across the wide range of devices. So that's how it will help us saving our time and compatibility across multiple devices and OS versions. The third challenge is frequent updates and feature releases. Well, the seamless integration will help here. Use Azure pipelines for CI and CD. Ensure that every code commit triggers an automated build and test cycle, including running test cases defined in Azure DevOps test plans. Implement feature togglings for new features and prepare test cases for both scenarios, toggle on or toggle off. This allows for testing new features in isolation and deploying them without affecting users until they are ready. Then the another challenge is ensuring user experience and performance. Well, we got you. Azure DevOps test plans got you. Well, create test suites focusing on the user experience, including navigation, ease of use, visual verification, manual testing guided by Azure. Test plans help ensure the application meets user experience standards. Integrate performance testing tools with Azure pipelines to execute load and stress test. Use Azure test plans to track performance and benchmarks and regressions. Then finally, coordination between distributed teams, because it has the seamless integration with all the Azure DevOps suite. So collaboration is there for sure. So that's why I leverage Azure boards within Azure DevOps for team collaboration, ensuring that developers, testers, and stakeholders are aligned on tasks, bugs, and user stories. Azure Test Plan facilitates sharing of test cases, plans, and results among team members, regardless of their location, fostering collaboration and transparency. And finally, managing test data. We can use test plans to define Azure Test Plan to define and manage test datasets and configurations, ensuring that tests are run with appropriate sanitized data with mimics real-world scenarios. We can, of course, parameterize test in an Azure Test Plan, allow for testing with various datasets, enhancing test coverage and efficiency. So these are some challenges that we come across in our scenario. And we talked about how test plans can help us fix these challenges. So now I hope you guys have pretty decent idea about Azure DevOps test plans. So let's close the video by saying, by addressing each challenge with Azure DevOps test plans and the broader Azure DevOps suite, the team can effectively or efficiently manage the complexity of developing a secure, user-friendly mobile banking application that works across multiple devices and can be updated frequently. The integration of test management, automated and manual testing, CI/CD pipeline, and collaboration tools creates a robust environment for tracking common development challenges, ensuring high quality software delivery. So use Azure test plans if you already have implemented Azure DevOps tools or practices. And thank you for watching. Let's meet in another video where we'll be discussing some interesting concepts. Thank you for watching.